Everyone says niche down, but what if you could grow by going wide with purpose? My name is Chidester and I've generated over $115 million in sales and counting, so I know this to be true from personal experience. So if you've ever felt boxed in by your niche, this video will help you rewire how you think about content, identity, and audience growth without losing momentum or clarity. So we want to start off by making sure we don't fall into traditional niche traps. So here's what most people do. So here's a niche, for example, as someone say, I want to work with moms. No problem with that. Then they go, I want to work with moms who are 30, 35. Then I want to work with moms who have dogs. Then I want to work with moms who have Crohn's disease, right? I'll say this is a fitness offer. Then I want to work with moms who have 2 kids. And then you get all the way down here and there's nobody left. So when you niche down, sure, you want to be specific, but you want to be so specific that you actually target yourself out of the audience. So for example, when I started in the fitness niche, what I did is I said, I'll teach you how to eat whatever you want without sabotaging results. And when I would run ads and when I would do social media, I was really targeting men and women, okay? But I was really targeting men and women over 35 plus. And then you could say it was people who were tired of yo-yo dieting. But it's still super broad where if someone has 2 kids or, someone doesn't have a dog or whatever, they can still work with me. A lot of people will kind of niche themselves out of the market by making it too specific. So you want to have a specific offer, but it doesn't need to be that specific. So an easier way to think of specificity is take one of my clients, Grant. Grant works with physical therapists. Because he was a physical therapist prior, he builds a lot of trust. He did $600,000 last month just helping physical therapists build their in-person business. Or I have another client named Cynthia, and Cynthia is doing over $100,000 a month helping kids get into Ivy League colleges. That is unique by the offer alone. So if you were gonna go the fitness route or you're gonna go the business route, right, consulting, where it's a little bit more red ocean, the way you get specific is maybe you say, hey, I'm only gonna help trainers, or I'm only going to help people who want to eat vegan style. That's how you can get a little bit more niche down without pricing yourself out of the market or losing a ton of customers. So we want to niche down, but we don't want to be too niche down. Once we make sure we have a good niche, then we want to start thinking about our mission-based framework. So I will be honest, when I started in my fitness company, that was the first company I ever had. It wasn't really mission-based. I was just trying to make money, and I was in really good shape, and I knew people were tired of yo-yo dieting. But when I got into business, the whole reason I got into business consulting, you see these videos with me, and I post a few a week, and I'm always posting on social media, and I run ads, and I do all those things, is because I grew up in a family of 7 kids. I had a dad who worked his ass off, and I really appreciate everything my dad did, but we just only had enough to get by. He was a teacher. And so as I got older, I realized that if I didn't do something to change my life would never change. I would never have the dream life that I have now, right? Or that I'm going to continue to build. And because of that, my mission was to give back and help people make more money, because what I saw is when I helped people double their revenue, triple their revenue, make an extra $10,000 a month, that money could go to anything they needed. It could go to therapy, it could go to nutrition, it could go to training, it could go to business consultants, it could go to whatever they needed. And I saw, hey, if I can help people make more money, I can't directly help every single person, but if I can help people make more money, that allows them to use that money in whatever best benefits their life. And so my mission-based framework has been help people learn how to make enough money so they can get out of the rat race, and so they can do whatever they want, when they want, with whoever they want, because that to me is true freedom. And the whole reason I do this is I'm trying to give people the same freedom that I now have. But all that's for nothing if you don't have an identity and an enemy. So for me, when I was starting my fitness business, and I use these examples because these are my real life stories. When I started a fitness business, I had my identity, hey, I want to eat in a flexible way where I can still enjoy my life and still be in shape. And so my enemy was anything rigid, anything super, do this, super structured. I wanted to have kind of flexibility. And so people who wanted to push away from that became what I started to build as my identity. Hey, I live a flexible lifestyle. I'm in super great shape. This is how I do it. You can do it too. When I started doing business consulting, the enemy was the matrix, right? Or the real world where you go out and get a 9-to-5 job. And when I was in college, I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to get a degree that makes $100,000 a month. And one of my mentors said, dude, that's not a lot of money. And now I make hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. And I've been doing this for over 7 years. I've made a lot of money. And so the enemy is kind of the 9-to-5 job or kind of the ordinary life, which isn't bad, by the way. It's just pushing against that. So I attract the types of people. The identity is the people who want more, who want to have freedom, who want to have flexibility. And so you want to make sure that once you have your niche down and you have your mission-based framework, that you then start to create an identity. So when people see me, they're either going to have a negative thought or a positive thought, right? Based on the stuff they've seen from me. And so my goal is to try to have as much positivity as possible, and that people can see, hey, Tanner's about hard work. He's about discipline. He's about his family. He's about working hard. He's about never giving up. He's about, more, not, I want to say lifestyle, but more about events and experiences versus, spending your money on cars and Lambos and houses. Like, that's kind of my identity. And so people who relate with that, they become my clients. And those clients are the ones who not only do you enjoy working with, but then you actually will become successful and rich. That's step number 3. But probably the most important thing that you can do in 2025 is start to build a brand. Now, I'll be perfectly honest, I've spent over $30 million on ads, and that's what's made me so successful. Because when people ask me, Tanner, how did you get so many customers? I spent a lot of money on ads, and I'm not afraid to say it. The downside of that is that it's not always consistent. It's a little bit like a roller coaster. Now, with that being said, organic content is the same way, except usually it's just staying at the bottom for most people. You're seeing me now trying to build more of a brand, putting out consistent content, trying different things, hiring a staff that focuses on content and ideation and those types of things. I've paid a ton of consultants. Why? Because I know at the end of the day, if I can build a brand where I get a lot of views for free, if you take all the views I got from those paid ads and you put it back in my pocket, $30 million, that's a lot of money. Right now I made a lot, but the next level, the people I think will become the billionaires in the next 10, 20 years, even some of my close friends, right? They have a brand, plus they have a really good business strategy. And when you can combine both those things, it's super, super valuable, and it can take your business to the next level, and it can really help you fulfill your dreams and help a lot more people. Now, as we're trying to build a brand, we want to do something called strategic niche mapping. And really this is what I call content buckets. So if we come over here and we pull up my YouTube, one of the things you're going to notice, and I'm not perfect, but again, I want to keep showing you guys as I'm going along this journey with content, because I've been very successful in business. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to create buckets around the type of content that resonates. So one of the types of buckets, if you guys come to my page, is you're going to see I do one-to-one breakdowns with business owners. Even if they don't get a ton of views, it shows a ton of expertise, and it's definitely something that I want to do more of. Bucket number 2 is digital products. Every time I do something around digital products, it goes a little bit more viral. And the reason being, I think, is that there's a lot of people out there who want to build digital products. Is a little bit more of a broad offer. So that's bucket number 2. Now, bucket number 3, we're still trying to figure out. You only need between 2 to 4 buckets. But if you guys look, digital products, right? Digital product. If you look at some of my most popular videos right here on the screen, digital product, this has 132,000 views. I shot it 5 months ago. It's continuing to get views on its own. It's kind of crazy when you think about it. And that's one of the things I love about YouTube, is it just continues to populate. And then you can see down here, some of my other most popular videos is around one-to-one consulting with people in my home, and I actually build that. So what you want to do is, with your content, as you're trying to build your brand, figure out the different content buckets you want to build, regardless of what niche you're in, and then work on those buckets. So you want between 2 to 4 content buckets, and as you do this, it makes it a lot easier to build your brand by having specific buckets that you can build in, so your audience keeps coming back and knowing what they're going to get, but you still have some variety across those buckets. But for all this to work, you need to create what's called a founder story funnel. So one of the reasons people resonate with me is they like my no BS approach. I get a lot of those people. They also kind of recognize I grew up in humble beginnings. My dad was a teacher, my mom stayed at home, I had 6 siblings. I didn't grow up with a lot of stuff. I had to earn my way into college with scholarships. I had to buy my own car, like those types of things. It resonates with people. And so speaking about your struggles and where you started from, and then what you overcame to get to where you are, that's what resonates with people. And that's what's going to make them want to buy into your brand and want to talk more to you. If you don't have a good starting story, an origin story, people actually won't respect what you've accomplished. So think about someone who is born as a billionaire son. He can't win, because no matter what he accomplishes, people will just say, well, your dad was a billionaire. So the good news for you is when you're in the tough times is what makes the epic story. And so if you know that, going into that, don't focus on how bad your situation is, or don't make it worse on purpose, but know that if you're in a bad situation and you get out of it, that story is what's going to resonate with people and is going to help build your brand and help you really find and target your current customers. Now, we want to use that founder story and move into what I call platform prioritization, meaning you can't post everything everywhere at the same time. You can try, but it's really hard. So there's LinkedIn, there's Facebook, there's Snapchat, there's TikTok, there's Instagram, there's YouTube. What I would focus on is, where is your message going to resonate the best, and where are you going to get the most bang for your buck? So for me and my company and my brand, I know that Instagram and YouTube give me the biggest bang for my buck. So what I do is I focus on YouTube content specifically and IG Reels, and then we repurpose that content to our other platforms and channels. Now, is that going to resonate the best? Absolutely not, right? Having specific content for LinkedIn and TikTok and Twitter is super necessary, but where my business is at and where my content is at, I don't feel I should start spreading myself too thin until I've mastered YouTube and I've mastered Instagram. And I just don't think I'm there yet. And so that's the same thing for you, is focus on the platforms that give you the most bang for your buck, because when you focus, you can repurpose that content to other places. But if you try to do all 7 or 8 platforms at once and you're doing it all by yourself, you're going to get spread really thin and you're going to see minimal progress, versus if you really focus on 2 platforms or less and try to grow those first. Now that you know how to build a brand that represents who you are, let me show you how I used my brand to make over $1 million with one platform. Just click here.